We're a little slanty, aren't we? We look a little like... Is it just me? I think it looks a little like...
I think the pillar's straight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just me. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Mostly All Figured Out podcast. I'm your host, Emily Louie. I need to come up with a better intro for this that explains what this podcast is about. But it's not going to happen today, so something to look forward to in the future. We are here today, live, in person, at JJ's Casa Di Pizza, with the one and only... Oh, shoot, I forgot to ask how to pronounce your last name.
Ciesiulka.
Ciesiulka. Ciesiulka. Is that Polish?
It is.
Love it. Another Polak like myself. Mike Ciesiulka, a.k.a. Shooky, is on the podcast today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So Mike and I are new friends. We've only just met. So you're going to be able to see our friendship unfold right before your eyes here. So the first question I have for you, I have to ask, and I don't think I said it yet. So you are most commonly referred to as Shooky.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I think it was like the third grade. Fellow student, because no one could pronounce my name. It just came out and it just stuck.
Yes.
And it's been there ever since.
Shooky. I love that. Do you like when people call you that, or do you not like it?
I go through phases.
Okay.
There's a period where I thought, like, I should, I'm a grown adult. Maybe I should get rid of this nickname, but it's very hard.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of, it's fine.
Third grade is a long time to have that nickname.
Time. It's a very long time.
It's very endearing, I will say. It's very endearing. I wish I had a nickname like that. I used to be called, in high school, I was called Spinny, because Marciniak is my last name.
Okay.
So they would shorten it to, it was like Spinny, then it was Spin, then it was, I had different versions of that.
Okay.
But I did not take it with me to college.
I didn't take it intentionally to college. It just kind of stuck through.
Yeah.
With different friend groups and.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
I like it.
I'm okay with it.
Can I call you Shooky?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm gonna call you Shooky then. So give us some background. Are you from Buffalo? Did you grow up here?
From Buffalo. I grew up in Depew.
Okay. I grew up in
Lancaster
Ciesiulka.
High School.
Okay.
Went to UB.
Okay. What'd you study at UB?
I have business and English degrees.
Interesting.
It wasn't what I started school with, so I bounced around a lot over the 5 years I was there, and kind of ended up where I was.
Yeah.
And never quite used the degrees like I planned.
Well, that's not true. You're a business owner now.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah.
I did think about going back for, master's in teaching education, but my sister's a teacher, and seeing how thankless of a job it is, it's kind of hard to. They're special people, teachers, and I have a lot of respect for them.
Yeah, that's so true. So that's where you wanted to go with your English degree?
That was the thought process. Yeah. I didn't really have a definitive plan.
Yeah.
But
I could see you as a teacher, though. You'd be like the teacher that everybody loved.
I used to teach in a couple stints. I was a CCD teacher at my local church in Depew.
Love that. Yeah.
And I was, it was fun. The kids liked me. I had some good results.
Yeah, I believe that. I have to ask you, what was the church?
OLBS, Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament.
Yeah.
It's St. Martha's now, I think.
Yeah, it combined with something else. I went to St. Barnabas School, which was like down the street.
Yeah, I think those two parishes combined.
Did they combine as well? Yeah.
Become St. Martha's.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I grew up in Cheektowaga, but we spent a lot of time in Depew because that's where my grandparents were, and it was very close.
Oh, okay.
So I went to St. Barnabas School, and I love that you taught CCD at OLBS. That's so great. They were like our arch rivals.
Yeah, it was like Lancaster, Depew, and
yeah,
OLBS
and OLBS and St. Barnabas. You know, I love that. So you said you have a sister. Do you have any other siblings?
I have a younger brother too.
Okay.
He's 10 years younger than me. My sister's 5 years younger than me.
Oh, you're the oldest.
Yep.
Okay.
My parents spaced us out very evenly.
Yeah, 5, 5, and 5.
Yeah.
Wow. See, okay, that's interesting to me too because I have 2 boys, and they are 5 years apart. So your sister was in the middle, you said?
Mm-hmm.
So what was your, like, do you remember at all the dynamics between you and your sister?
My sister and I, for the most part, got along growing up.
Yeah.
Obviously, by the time, we were both, in our teenage years, she was moody.
I love how careful you were with your word choice.
She also had these claws that she used to dig into all of our. I mean, I think we all have scars. My entire family has scars from my sister.
Like natural, like they were actually her nails.
Yeah. She's just that was her defense mechanism to anything, which couldn't. You could call her a jerk, and it was like.
That's it. She's coming for you.
But and then my brother being way younger it was kind of a different dynamic. But by the time he was a teenager and we became good friends. We did a lot together.
Yeah.
He, when he was old enough to help me, he started helping me when I was doing the wedding DJing, and he actually took over the business, and he still does it to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he local?
Yeah.
Does he do other events besides weddings?
Yeah, pretty much anything you could ask for that you need a DJ. He's really good.
That's great. I need DJs all the time. Who's your brother?
Christian. Sound Unlimited is his.
Sound Unlimited. Yeah. Okay, got it.
DJs, photo booths, the whole thing.
Oh, very nice.
But the funny part is this Sound Unlimited story goes back even further because my dad and uncle started it back in I think 1978.
Wow.
So they were doing it with, towing around records and 45s.
Wow.
And then when they decided they were calling it quits, my uncle, got married and was having kids.
Yeah.
He passed on to me, and I did it for years with different friends, and my brother finally was old enough to help out, and so we started doing it together, and now he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I love that. So, okay, let's go back a little bit. So you were at UB. You got your bachelor's in education and business.
No, English.
English and business, right? So then what happened next?
Graduated, and I was just still working here, thinking about what I wanted to do.
Working, literally here?
Not this location. We were on Elmwood.
Okay, at Casa Di Pizza, yeah.
And then I met someone. We got married, had a kid, moved out to Clarence because her mom was sick at the time. So we wanted to be close to her mom. So lived on Clarence for first couple of years of Ethan being around.
Mm-hmm. Ethan, you said?
Ethan, yeah.
Yeah, that's your son's name.
And then we moved out. I think he was 2, maybe 3. We moved to Depew. We were actually almost directly behind my parents' house.
Wow.
And then lived there till he passed away when he was 6. And then I moved back to the city after that because I'm a city person.
Yeah.
Even though I grew up out there. I first moved to the city when I was 19, when I was at UB, and I've just been drawn to it ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm like that too. Even after growing up in a suburban kind of area.
I mean, there's the perks to the suburbs, but I like being around all the happenings.
Yeah. Well, you seem like a naturally social person too. You maybe.
It's kind of funny that you say that because growing up I was super shy.
Yeah.
I was still pretty shy when I think being behind a bar kind of changes that.
Yeah.
Because it's not even I don't know. It's not forced. It's just
kinda
what you have to do. And it's kind of funny that because I was never not a very outgoing person.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
But bartending kind of changed that, and then you do it long enough, you get to know a lot of people, and it's a lot easier to be social when you know people.
Yeah, that's true. It's comforting, especially I feel like Buffalo is the perfect size city for something like that because is that a Stanley Cup? Oh, it's Free Street
Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup, of course. Which, by the way, real quick aside,
customized too.
It says Shooky on it. Wait, we got to show. We have to show. Look at that. Everybody's gonna know whose cup this is. Wow, it's very heavy. You're staying very hydrated.
Yes.
That's very good. What was I gonna say before I'm like a squirrel sometimes. Like my distraction.
It's the same way. I could.
And I have like 17 different questions I want to follow up with you on. Okay, so let's go back for a minute. But first, let me take a sip. I'm getting dehydrated because this is so fun. You mentioned your son and losing your son. That is probably one of the most difficult things that anyone can go through. How, if you don't mind me asking, and again, we don't have to talk about this, how did you move forward? I'm very careful to say move on because I don't think you ever do that. But how did you keep moving after dealing with something that awful?
It wasn't easy. I had really, really, really wonderful support system between like my family, friends. My sister moved back from Atlanta like immediately. She was down there teaching. Awesome. And just my family. We have a very, very, very tight knit family.
Yeah.
Especially on my father's side, it's pretty large, and they're all, for the most part, have been local. I mean, throughout my growing up, they were all there. So it was between that and like my friends, my work family. Like it was a lot of support.
Yeah.
I kept busy because I didn't know what else to do. So
yeah.
I worked a lot.
Yeah.
I moved back. I had moved out of where I was living because obviously couldn't really face that. So
yeah.
But I had some friends that were looking for someone to live with them and a beautiful apartment on the west side, and I jumped on it, and that helped too, being back closer to where I feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, being with people, close to people, always helps, I think.
Yeah.
To keep yourself moving and, have people checking on you and...
and then I put, some efforts into, like, creating awareness for... My son had Down syndrome, which was an amazing thing. But, every year I try to, have a fundraiser and make money for the Down syndrome parent groups of Western New York. And, Josh has helped me out with a couple of projects, and we've done a couple of things here at Casa to, raise some funds for it. I met a really close friend of mine, and she has a Cocker Spaniel that became my buddy over the past 6 years or so.
Yeah.
So he was like my own personal therapy dog.
Yeah.
Because I would just go pick him up and take him. There are a lot of exploring Western New York, especially over like the couple years of COVID, which was nice. It was cathartic to be outside with just a dog.
Yeah. And
that helped a lot too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It came in different phases, obviously, and it's but I think I'm in a good place now with everyone in my family, and
yeah.
I mean, there's always bad days, bad weeks.
Yeah.
There's always there's little reminders everywhere, and some are great, some are just really, really bring you down, but
yeah. Well, I think it's like you said, when you're dealing with grief, it's never linear, and I don't know if there's ever like an end goal with it.
I don't think you want it to end. I think part of what grief is the fact that you loved so much that, so if it goes away, that means, I don't know.
Yeah, it was special.
My way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, I love that. I think it's really one of the things that drew me to you in our, brief time that we've had together is, you shared your story with me, and you radiate such like light and positivity and warmth and inclusivity. You know, I don't know if you realize this. I'm hoping that other people have told you this before, because it was just so clear, like right upon meeting you, like, oh, this is a wonderful person. And then everyone I talked to, you know, around was like, oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That is a wonderful person. So, you know, is that something that, do you feel like you had to, is that just a part of your personality, or is that something that you...
I mean, I guess. I don't go, I don't feel like I'm going out of my way to like do anything special at all. This is just who I am, you know. I think a lot of this came from, you know, I think having a son with special needs, or a child with special needs, and then, you know, seeing how he affected everyone around him. And then, you know, after he passed on, I figured I had to keep his positive light going.
Absolutely.
Per se.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, just try to, you know, be there.
Yeah.
And, you know, you know, make the best of what's around.
Yeah. That's really, I love that. That's really beautiful. And I could see, it's like you're carrying his spirit in all of your interactions. And that's the most beautiful way to keep someone.
If you ever had the fortunate, I mean, to be able to have met him, he was a funny, just always happy. Even when, you know, we were in the hospital for all that time, like I'm still friends with some of the nurses that took care of him because they loved him so much, and he was just like, when it was known that he wasn't gonna make it, like there was just a steady stream of hospital staff, doctors, like some of the you know, the workers around the hospital that I'd never even. And the one guy, you know, happened to, you know, have a little chat with me, and he's like, Ethan, we were working on the elevator. He used to come and he would be messing with us. He'd pushing the buttons, and he's like, because like when he was we were in the long-term surgical recovery for quite a while, and he kind of became known as the mayor of the 9th floor because he had free reign to do whatever. Like he just, you know, and yeah, it was pretty remarkable how much of an effect he had on. And then he had his little moment of fame when video of him dancing kind of went. You know, the news picked up the story, and it was seen by quite a few people. Yeah, they used to have these musicians come to the hospital. Mm-hmm. They're called musical medics. It was through the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. It's a program that they do. It was awesome.
Yeah.
These young musicians would come in and you know, play guitar or whatever. And the one day, really gem of a human, Vinny DeRosa.
Yeah.
If you've ever.
Yes, I'm familiar. Yeah.
He'd been in a number of times, and it was like a day he came in, and Ethan just wasn't in the mood.
Yeah.
So Vinny went out in the hall, you know, just said thanks anyways, and started playing the Pharrell song "Happy." And Ethan heard it and just like threw down whatever, took off his ventilator thing, and ran out in the hallway and started dancing. And it's just, I'll show you the video.
Yeah, please. I would love to share it if you would be willing to share it with us.
Yeah.
That sounds,
I mean, it's
like pure joy.
He was a special kid. He really was.
He sounds like it. He sounds like it. I like to think, you know, the most difficult for me loss that I've experienced was in my friend Shahada, who was 17 at the time when she passed. I met her because I was working at Roswell Park and doing programming for teens. I was very young. I was 23. But she and I got very close, and losing her was very difficult. And I, like you, try to talk about her as much as I can and bring her up. And I like to think that even by doing this podcast, which is just something that I really enjoy, and getting to connect with people, I feel like I'm helping keep her alive, you know, and keep her here, and keep people talking about her. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's something special that we can all do. So let's shift gears a little bit, and let's talk about this place.
Okay.
So you started working here right after college?
No, I started working here when I was 16. They had
16.
They had a location out by my parents in Depew on Transit Road. It's now
Oh, wow.
It's now Sidelines.
Oh, my gosh.
It was briefly a Casa Di Pizza.
Okay.
Started working there. There's a family, like my grandmother worked here back in the 60s. So there's like a long-term, like, you know, family friendship going on.
Yeah.
So I started working there when I was 16 as a dishwasher. And then, you know, I think I was a sophomore in college, junior, or high school. Did that, and then they sold that building to another pizzeria. And at the time, I was going to UB, and I was contemplating moving downtown. I'm like, well, you know what? Well, you know. So I came down there, and I was cooking just in the kitchen for a while. One day I was probably like 20, so I was maybe like 2 years into working there. You know, I was going to UB, and one day Joe, one of the former owners, was asked, you know, he's like, hey, we don't have a bartender tonight. He's like, you're going to bartend? I'm like, never bartended in my life. I had zero experience. I mean, at that time I was going to Canada to drink because it was like...
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right. So he threw me on like a Friday happy hour. No idea what I was doing. And that place used to get busy. And it did. It got really busy.
Yeah.
And,
were you alone? It was
I was
just
alone.
You? So you had no training, and you were
None.
just like, here you go.
That was the start of my bartending career.
Wow. Trial by fire.
Oh yeah, I was. Oof. And like those old timer happy hour people are no one to trifle with.
I imagine those folks are probably like the regulars too. Like they come in expecting something.
Especially like that, you know, 5 o'clock. They were all. This is when smoking was still out in bars, and like some of them you had to empty their ashtrays. Some of them you couldn't touch the ashtray because that's how they counted how many drinks they had. It was wild. So I'm learning all this on the fly, along with like learning how to bartend. Yeah. Or teaching myself. Thank God they were like it's an easy group. You know, it's like rum and Coke and bottle of Bud kind of crowd. But that was the beginning of bartending. So I did that for a while. I was just bartender, cook, managed there for years, and then you know, even through like they were very supportive and helpful with everything going on. And it was also, I mean, not that I was looking for any sort of convenience, but when Ethan was in the hospital, it was directly across the street from Casa Di Pizza, so it made my life a lot easier. Yeah. Because I pretty much spent every day at the hospital too. Yeah. You know, and then 2015, we were planning on opening a second location down here, and that was in the works. And then there were some plans to do some renovations at the old place while this one took over, and then have both places going. But unfortunately, the patriarch of the family, Joe Sr., passed away. And that kind of led to the one brother who kind of only stuck around for his father, moved back to Florida. He was never really, he's into finance and day trader. And Joe at the time had 2 locations in Florida that he's like, well, Dad's gone. So it kind of left no one to take the reins at Elmwood because Jeff was coming to run this one. Mm-hmm. So the 3 brothers sold the building, and so there was a period, and it kind of helped out during that period too, because it was like that they announced their closing. That was going to be July 3rd was our last day, and Ethan passed away June 2nd. Oh wow! So it kind of gave me a couple months before we didn't open here until August. Yeah. But at the time, I had some friends who worked at Thirsty Buffalo down the street, they approached me and asked if I wanted to come bartend there, because my schedule was. So I helped in the kitchen there a couple of days a week just to keep myself occupied, and then I really enjoyed that summer a lot, as much as I could, without everything going on.
Yeah.
It was the first summer I had
busy.
where I wasn't working at all.
Yeah.
I did that, so then that's when I started bartending at Thirsty Buffalo. I did that for about almost 3 years. And then there was a period I went and worked at the Lennox Grill because I had some friends that worked there and said they were looking for a bartender. Mm-hmm. So at one point I was working 3 jobs.
Wow.
Just, like I said, keep myself busy.
Yeah.
I left Thirsty and then was just doing Lennox and here. And there was talk, like Jeff talked about like possibly retiring at some point, and nothing serious came about. And then Josh, who I became friends with while working at Thirsty Buffalo.
Right.
I would go see Josh and bug him while he was behind the bar at Roost.
Right.
And he started telling me about this idea, and said he really wanted Ann, who also Ann works here. I worked with Ann at Old Casa Di Pizza, and
Okay.
I worked with Ann at Thirsty. Josh said part of his requirements for this bar to work were that Ann and I had to go work with him. At Free
You're
Street.
talking about Free Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
For context.
This is now 2019.
Okay, so it's 2019, and we're talking about Josh White, who has been on the podcast before, who is one of the owners at Free Street. And so Josh at the time was working at Roost, and he said to you, I want to start this thing, but
He's like, I want you two to. He's like, I need you two to both be, and that was referring to me and Ann.
Okay.
And so we agreed, and it was the concept. I liked the concept. It was. I had no idea what it would turn into at the time.
Yeah.
Niagara Street was not what Niagara Street is now.
Yeah.
And
It was a risk.
but we did it. The core staff has been there together since day one.
That's very cool. That says a lot.
Yeah, it's a fun place to work, and it works well with even when I was just working here to when I took over here, and then COVID happened, which changed a whole lot. That was just stressful for everyone around, and that's when Jeff, my former boss owner, decided he was ready to retire.
Yeah.
He had that little taste of what it's like to not have to end the stress. Mm-hmm. So we started a plan to take over. I was going to do it initially with his nephew, but that fell through. And then it was just on the back burner until COVID was over, because there was no. I wasn't even close to being able to take that risk then.
You're right. Yeah.
And then he, made the deal really conducive to working out for me and another fellow, my partner Stacy, who I worked with for years at Elmwood location. So we took over in April of 2022.
Still pretty recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was the first, almost up until the holiday season was still very stressful, because the after effects of COVID was there was no one in the offices downtown.
Yep.
It was still really tough period.
Yeah.
But we got through that part, and things have been back to, a lot of a business down in this region is lunch, lunch and catering, and that all disappeared during COVID. So, it's back. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say almost fully back. Pretty much all the local offices are filled again.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see. Nice to see some of the old regular faces that we'd see every day for lunch. And I was like, but.
Yeah. So what was that transition like? Like, what's been the most stressful part about like going from being on staff to being the owner of this place?
I think that dealing with just staffing has been, but that's everywhere.
Yeah.
This post-COVID,
Yeah.
just people don't want to work, and work ethic is down.
Yeah.
I think everyone, like on the other side, like there's this weird sense of entitlement like everywhere with everyone, and it was nice that first go around with the COVID, where when people came back, were allowed to come back out and go to restaurants. So everyone was very supportive and like let's support local, let's support small business. That disappeared real quick.
Yeah. Now
everyone's back to their crappy attitudes and taking out on bar staffs and wait staffs, and it's definitely worse than it was before COVID. I
really,
because I've been doing this for a long enough time to see like people just have this like say whatever they want, they don't care. Like
I can't understand that.
I forgot where I was not that long ago, and this guy was just berating like this 16-year-old host. And like just to the point where she ran out of the room crying. It's like you're a grown. I wasn't even. I was a customer at this restaurant, and
yeah,
like I don't. What you feel good about?
Right.
Like you're a adult with his kids too. Like this is someone else's child. Like
right. It could be yours.
I know people have bad days, but you don't
take it out on.
Take it out on.
No, it's so gross to me. I will never understand it. And like, God help the people that, like, one time I was out with family, and I won't say who, because he might listen to this episode. But I was out with family, and something like one of the orders were wrong, and it was like a chain restaurant too, so it was just like whatever. But he, like, the way he talked to the server, like, they were so like, take this back, this is wrong. I mean, I take it to the other extreme, right? So I'll be like, I would like more of what's wrong, please. It's so delicious. I love it.
This burnt steak is great.
Yeah, this is the best.
I love the taste of
black
charcoal. Yeah.
steak I've ever had. It is. I didn't
realize you prepared it black and it's wonderful.
That's me. I'm like, I definitely. There's a good balance in between, I think.
I have no problem with someone addressing. Like, if there's something wrong, like if your meal's not how you want it, like please let us know so we can fix it.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's the people that like don't let you know and then like make a stink afterwards or go write a Yelp review. And that's the thing too with Yelp. Yelp is just it gives like these faceless people a chance to just say, when you're starting to take personal attacks at like the service staff and whoever. Like, I'm not gonna take you seriously. Like, there's nothing serious about. Like,
yeah.
And I tell other friends in the industry, I'm like, don't like. People get upset when they get a bid. I'm like, don't even look at it.
Just don't.
Because anyone who actually cares, and like, I've never looked at a restaurant's Yelp reviews to determine if I'm gonna go there.
No, I might look at like the pictures to be like, to figure out what I want to order. So full disclosure, I used to work at Yelp. So it was very brief. It was a 10-month period, and I was like, can't do this anymore. I know there's definitely some things I can't say, so I'm going to not do that. But I think that it's different in different markets, and I think the Buffalo market is just really difficult because, like, in bigger cities, like... I
could see that.
It's helpful because there's, like, 2 blocks and you have like 75 different restaurants, and I think people use it differently there. Like I think it's really about the culture and how the culture is using Yelp. The culture in Buffalo uses Yelp to say when they don't like something. Yeah. So it's just not. It's really difficult. And there's the Yelp Elite Squad who post the mostly positive and like much more at least constructive things, which is good, but your average person in my experience in Buffalo is not using it to say positive things. But like you said, I think keeping that context is really important. Like I have seen some, especially when I was working there, I was obviously much more aware of it. I saw some businesses like very explicitly saying, we don't want any Yelp people even walking through our doors. And I think that is letting it affect you. That's giving your power away where it doesn't need to, you know?
If someone writes a review, I mean, like if it's something like that, like, and if it's like someone, I'll read them.
Sure.
I'll think if it's something serious, like if it's like, oh, sometimes there's a picture coming and like I'm like, hey, if like the pizza actually looks raw or like crap, I'm like, go talk to my staff and like, hey, guys, this pizza went out. We can't be putting this out.
Yeah.
So there's a constructive aspect to it.
Sure.
Also, like,
yeah.
I don't like. I don't understand why people like come talk to. Like I would gladly remake whatever, fix the food, but do it in a nice way. Like if I ever, and I don't like. I'm like you. I'll eat whatever and maybe contemplate not going there again. But I'm not gonna make a stink. I'm not gonna like, flag down the waitress and tell her, make her cry because she didn't even prepare the food. Like,
right.
That's the sad part. It's like.
Right, exactly. She just brought it out. Yeah. I think I do often wonder about, how, I mean, it's just like having any kind of public facing situation, right? You just have to accept that you're gonna receive some comments and reviews. Like I started the YouTube for this podcast and I've received 2 comments so far. We're big time. The first one was sexually explicit, so I had to flag it. That was upsetting. The second one was, so they commented and they said, skip over the first 7 minutes with like an eye roll emoji. And I was just like,
why are you watching?
Why?
That? Just don't watch. If you didn't like it, like.
Then why? And this person even subscribed to the channel. So I'm like, why? I don't understand. So if you're watching this right now on YouTube, please write a nice comment in there. Let's start a new trend. But yeah, I think this is something that we all, and even I saw this post on Instagram. I think it was Julia Roberts, maybe. She shared a post of her with her niece, and it was just a picture of them playing cards, and she did this reel. Well, someone made a reel of her voice over the photo saying, like, I posted this picture because it was a special moment of me and my niece, and it elicited hundreds, if not thousands, probably hundreds of comments saying like, oh, she looks so old. Oh, look at, she's not wearing any makeup on her eyes. Oh, is she like, but what she really took away from that was, I am a, something-year-old woman. I'm very confident in myself. I, have a very well-established career. I know who I am. And yet those comments still permeated me. And so she's like, what is stuff like this doing to the younger people who are growing up in this? You post anything and you're just like putting yourself out for scrutiny.
That's the worst part about it. It's like, it's these keyboard warriors, like they wouldn't have the audacity or the gumption to ever say that to anyone in person. It's the power you get being behind your phone or your computer, where you can just sit there and spread hate and speak whatever you want without any consequence, because what's the worst that happens? You get flagged.
Yeah.
Like.
Right. That's it. You start an argument with someone else, but then you're just getting attention, which it seems is what you want.
It's like, I mean, it would be, I honestly, like, it's a shame that it has to come back, because, like, sometimes it's nice to get, like, a nice comment on a picture you post or something, but it's like you can't have moderators for everything, and it's like, like, you can't have the good without the bad, I guess. But like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild, and it's just, it's something that I know I'm going to have to start thinking about more and more as my boys get older. My older dude is 8 now. And And you already start to see it with certain things in the way that, especially boys,
Yeah.
interact with each other and comment on things. And so, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so what is, okay, last question I'll ask you before the final question. What is something that you do to ground yourself or maybe remind yourself of who you are in moments where you might be questioning it because of what other people say or do? Or
I don't know. That's a good one.
yeah.
Because sometimes I do get drawn into the...
It's human. It's natural. We all do.
I don't even really know.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I guess I just kind of like attempt to walk away from the situation, but there's times when it's like, you know, you get pushed just a little too far, and it's, I mean, with like the commenting on social media, like I've definitely just been like, I will just, because I don't want to go down some of those rabbit holes, so sometimes I'll just turn it off.
Yeah.
You know, pause myself on whatever platform for a couple of days, just to not go back to it. But
Yeah. I think that's that in itself is like a really good strategy for everyone. I think we all need to just take a break from social sometimes. You know,
sometimes if you can turn it into like a funny situation, or like turn it back on the person making the comment. Sometimes I like to do that, but
like that.
like if just Josh is pretty good at stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Okay, final question for you.
Yeah.
So let's say it is your final day on Earth. You've lived a very full life. All of your goals, all of the dreams that you were hoping to accomplish, you've done it. You have wonderful relationships. You know, you've had a great life, really good life. What are the 3 lessons, if you could only pick 3 things that you would want to leave behind for the people that you love? Like 3 things that you learned from your time that you think are important for people to
be
to
kind.
know. Be kind.
Yeah, I think that's the most important. Just be kind to everyone and anyone, just because you don't know, like, what's happening in their life. You don't know what's happening that day. And it's like, even if, if someone's rude to me, it's like, maybe they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
But, you try not to, it's when people are, be kind, is definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like live, like go out, see, like if you tell yourself you want to go to Prague, go to Prague. Find a way to make it happen. Go into debt. Who cares? You can't take money with you when you die.
True.
Like, just enjoy life. I mean, I've traveled to Europe a couple times, and it's just been like magical. And there's things I want to do, and I'm like, I'm gonna make a plan for this. Like, and like, I've learned that like, it may seem like I work a lot, but like, in the past where I wouldn't take off on a night to go to a concert, I wouldn't, I'd consider twice about, giving up a shift or, now if there's a band that comes to town that I want to see, I take off. I don't care.
Heck yeah.
Money's, whatever.
Yeah. You got to live.
Yeah.
What's something that you want to do that you want to make plans for?
Prague is one of them.
Okay.
Prague's definitely on the list. I'd like to go to like either like Southeast Asia or New Zealand.
Oh.
That's definitely on the list.
Both of those, yeah. That's cool.
I'd like to get to the like Eastern Bloc and see where my Polish roots are.
Yeah.
I've done the Italian side, but I'd like to go to. Those are all on the list.
Yeah. Love that. Okay, so what's lesson number 3?
Lesson number 3. Be open to new ideas, new thoughts. Like, expand. Like, don't be closed in onto anything. Like, I feel so bad for anyone who's not willing to like live, adventure. Like, with food, or with music, with art, with anything. Like read a book.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I've read so many books in my life, and I learned so much. Plus, it's a great way to escape reality sometimes too.
Yeah.
And try listen to different music. Go to the art museum and look at something that you would never and see what you could take from it. Try different foods. Like, I even sometimes like question. You know, I watch people that come in here and order the same thing 3 times a week. And it's like, why? I mean, believe me, there are things I've tried in my life that I would never have again. But I will try anything once. Whatever you present to me, I will try it.
Yeah.
Like, I had frog legs once. Didn't like it. Never again.
In Europe or here?
It was here. It was in Florida.
Florida frog legs.
Yeah. Never again. But like, you know, I went to Prescott for Vision with my friend Gina last week, and like just why we're like best friends is like we ordered like one of every appetizer.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, so we had some venison carpaccio and some octopus and a scallop, and it was great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm like I feel bad for anyone that like would look at it, because I was telling people I ran into afterwards, and like, ew, octopus. I'm like, you should try it.
Yeah.
Try it. Like venison carpaccio. I'm like, yeah, raw. Like, ew, raw. I'm like, just try it.
Yeah.
Like, you never know if you don't. I don't know. I think that's is to be willing to live outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I really love that. I think that, and what you said about, like, I feel bad for people who don't have that kind of mindset. It's true, because there's so much that they just will never know. So many feelings, so many tastes, so many stories, so much that they just will never know. And I think it's really tough with people like that, because often they don't even realize that they're closed off. You know, they don't realize how closed off they are to experiencing life.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much. Sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, wow, like, life is amazing.
You just, like, I mean, you don't have to even, like if you're scared to travel or scared to fly, like, there's so many cool things to do within a half-hour drive of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like I said, during, you know, in my moving forward process and like COVID, I would take the dog and I would go and download this app called All Trails, and all of a sudden there's hidden trails everywhere, like,
so cool,
that I've discovered. Like one of my personal favorites, I found one it's in what's the town next to Hamburg? Eden. Eden. It's in Eden. It's called Franklin Golf. If you didn't know it was there, you would never know it was there.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a couple side roads off Route 62, and all of a sudden you're like in this, like, it's beautiful. There's like 5 waterfalls. There's like 5 different trails. It's stunning.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, then it's, you know, I go to Spraguebuck the one time, and all of a sudden I'm like, look, there's ramps. So I'm like, oh my god, like, I'm like foraging for ramps for like hours, because it's like, didn't expect that, but it was like, you know, something different. And then there's just like little. I went to the one in like Holden where it's like called Sleepy Hollow, and these are places I would like. No one talks about. Everyone talks about, you know, like,
Letchworth
and
Chestnut Ridge, yeah,
and Eternal Flame.
Right. Yeah.
These are so much like. I don't know.
Yeah. There's so much. We really are very lucky to live where we do, because we're surrounded by so much.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know. I like to, you know, just to try to enjoy my free time. You know, I love concerts. Yeah. I love movies. I love reading. You know, so it's like, you know, if I see a concert's coming, even if it's a band, like, I heard one song, like, find someone, pick up a couple tickets. Yeah. I just buy 2 tickets to everything. It's my thing.
Do you have tickets to the Drake and J. Cole concert?
No, I don't.
Dang. If anyone does,
if they
and
come
they're
along,
trying
I'll let you know.
to get rid of them.
But that's my thing. I buy 2 tickets. Like this year, I bought season pass to Shays. I'm like,
Oh,
2
that's
tickets.
awesome.
You know, I'll wait till like the week before. I'm like, hey, what are you doing Sunday? You want to go to see a show?
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's something to do. So it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, concert coming. I have at the end of the month. I'm going to Toronto to see like Cold War Kids.
Cool.
And I just bought 2 tickets. So I'm like, I'll worry about who goes with me later. If
Yeah.
someone wants to go, I'll go myself. I don't care.
That's so great. I love that.
You know, there's just, I don't know. Being closed-minded is just
Yeah.
something that I feel bad for anyone that lives their life like that.
I know I said that was the last question, but I have a follow-up question to that. Do you think that, were you always of that mindset, or do you think that it was amplified after losing your son?
Oh, it was definitely amplified.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't say I was like scared, but I definitely was a lot more cautious with everything. Like, again, I was definitely not nearly as outgoing,
Yeah.
like open to talking
Yeah.
to people about. I'm very close. I was very closed in, not intentionally. I mean, having Ethan kind of started the change, because it was like, you know, when you're raising a kid with special needs, you kind of like, it was a learning experience beyond what just raising a child normal, you know. Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know, so there was a lot of like community things that we got involved in that were, so it was like, it kind of opened up the process of like, oh, it's okay to look outside of, you know, your
Yeah.
comfort zone for help and aid and, you know, information,
Absolutely.
you know. And it was, you know, it was always a, you know, it's a communicative thing too. It's, you know, you raise a kid with Down syndrome, and like people have questions, and it's, you know, you answer them honestly, and, you know, trying to like, you know, people are like, oh, how do you make, well, he's just my son. He's it's not like
Yeah.
my wife never really, that's where our relationship started to go south, was because I handled it with, like, I was,
Yeah.
and she internalized a lot of everything. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough.
But yeah, after he passed, it was like, you know, you never know, like,
Yeah.
what can happen. So it's like, you know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
go out and enjoy, and if you wanna, if you put your mind to wanting to do something, do it.
Yeah.
You might not get another chance.
Right.
It might not be there. They might not be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I had a trip planned to Prague in September of 2020, and then, you know,
Wow.
COVID happened. So
Yeah.
it's like, you never know. You never know what the next thing
Yeah.
is, and it could change everything. So it's like, you know, if you get a chance to do it, do it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for sitting with me and
Thanks.
sharing with me, and
Thanks for having me on.
absolutely. How do you feel? Do you feel as nervous as when you started?
Not as nervous as when I started.
Okay.
Still a little nervous, though.
Well, you did really well. This was really great, and I especially appreciate everything you shared about Ethan, and how open you were, and your really interesting career trajectory, and all of your thoughts on the things you shared. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if you enjoyed this, like I said, leave us a positive comment.
Yes, please.
Please don't be filthy. And yeah, follow us on Instagram at Mostly All Figured Out. Do you want people to follow you on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. I'll put your actually, isn't your Instagram name Shooky?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody, this is Shooky. And you can follow him on Instagram. What is it? Shooky 12. Shooky 12. What's the 12 for?
Just my number.
That's your number. I love that. Mine's 11.
Oh, okay.
So look at that. Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.